Whenever you're ready, ma'am. I would prefer there not be any candy. I have my winter weight on plus my freshman weight on.
I did not bring or purchase any candy for tonight's meeting, so. And you are live, Mayor.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thanks for joining us. Committee of the Whole at 6:30. Today's date, March 16th, 2026. This evening, we have approval of minutes, item 6. We have March 2nd's work session for item A. Item B is March 2nd's Committee of the Whole, and item C, March 2nd's regular meeting minutes. Does anybody have any adjustments or anything to address those minutes at all? Okay, that brings us to 11A, Resolution 2025-14, the bed tax grant. There were 2 bed tax committee meetings that happened last week or the week before last, I suppose. 2 weeks ago? When was that? That was the last week of February. And the bed tax committee got together, met twice, first time to decide whether or not they wanted to hear presentations, and the second time to hear presentations and talk about this resolution and bring this back to council is how we have it today. Anybody like to talk about that resolution anymore or wait until the meeting to talk about it?
Wait till the meeting.
Okay.
I think there'll be public comment on it tonight, so I think just waiting to the meeting.
I believe you're correct about that. Hot button topic. So 12A, that brings us on to the first budget amendment. That is item 17, page 17 in your packet.
Trish isn't here, and I don't believe Tim is here either. I just, during the week, looking at the agenda, I see that on the second page of the fiscal note, page 17, the section where it says that it's coming out of professional development or going into professional development, that should be professional services. The fund is correct, but the fund number is correct, but the name of the fund, I'll get with Trish and have her correct it before the next meeting. But it is not coming out of professional development. It is coming out or going into professional services.
Thank you for that, Madam Clerk. Any further discussion on this? Okay, that brings us on to Resolution 2602, item B, the mill rate in the city of North Pole, allowing the borough to go through and collect 1.75 mils worth of property tax. Any discussion on that? Would there be anybody opposed to consenting that item?
Just did.
Someone would make that motion when we get there, that would be wonderful. That brings us on to item C, request to council to accept grant funds from the VFC. Chief, would you like to speak to that?
Yep, I believe I had briefly brought this up at the last council meeting that this would be coming forward. This is a grant we apply for annually and have received several years in the past. So this year, we've been notified that we'll receive $9,985.66. This grant is a wildland firefighting grant, and we're going to use it this year to replace chainsaws. And along with extra chains, specialized chains that we use, and then training equipment, chaps and helmets and stuff like that. So, yep, we're just coming to you for the actual approval so we can actually accept the grant There is a 10% match that we do have that available within the fire department's budget for the 10% match side of that. So I would just appreciate approving this and moving it forward.
Okay, thank you, Chief. Any questions? Okay. Would council like to consent that item as well or talk about that during our council meeting? I always think it's great to talk about it just so that the city knows what we're receiving, but completely up to anyone if they want to make that amendment. Brings us on to item D, request to council for the bed tax chair. I asked Elena Reed to be the chair of the bed tax committee, and then they, as a committee, voted on the chair. So that was taken care of, and this is the letter I've seen before you. Any questions on that?
Lena will not be able to attend the meeting this evening, just in case.
How long is this appointment?
1 year, the end of the year. Yep.
That's the end
Or until it's approved again.
of this year.
Correct. Councilman Schuster.
I was just gonna say, I thought she did a really good job running the meeting and I would have no problem consenting that.
Okay, if you would like to make that motion, I think that's great. Thank you, Councilman Schuster. That brings us on to item E, request to council for the approval of the professional services fee agreement and contract for our attorneys. Did everybody get a chance to look over that contract, and are there any questions? Okay. Well, with that discussion, we'll take a 20-ish minute break.
Before you take a break, did you want
7 p.m.
to ask who may want to do the pledge or the invocation?
No, ma'am.
No.
I'll take care of that, but thank you. Okay. Till that, we'll see you a few minutes before 7. Thank you, Madam Clerk. We're live. Good evening and welcome to the North Pole City Council meeting. Today is March 16th, 2026. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Brandt?
Here.
Mr. Claus?
Here.
Mr. Schuster?
Here.
Mr. Williams?
Here.
Ms. Rolfe?
Here.
Mr. Skips?
Here.
And Mayor Church.
Here.
There are 7 present.
Thank you. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation. Allegiance. Heavenly Father, we come before you tonight with gratitude and thanks for the opportunity to serve North Pole. We ask for your guidance as this council gathers to discuss matters that affect our city and the North Pole community. Remind us that leadership is a responsibility built on service, a genuine desire to do what is right. Help us listen carefully with an ear to understand. We ask that you bring peace in these chambers. Grant each person in this room wisdom to speak, patience to hear, and clarity of thought. May conversations remain focused on what is best for this community. We pray that every decision be made with fairness and integrity. May the outcome of this meeting strengthen our city and improve the well-being of all who visit. We ask this in your most holy name. Amen.
If I step in.
Madam Clerk, that brings us on to item 4, citizens' comments.
Any person wishing to speak to any item not on the agenda needs to sign up on the list located on the public testimony table. Respectful standards of decorum and courtesy should be observed by all speakers. Remarks should be directed to the city council as a body rather than any particular council member or member of the staff. Comments are limited to 5 minutes. I've brought a bell. If we get to the 5-minute mark, I will ding the bell. If you're here to speak to the bed tax ordinance or a resolution that's on the agenda, that commentary will be taken under unfinished business. I have nobody signed up online for public testimony.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, for that. When you come forward to speak, please state your name, place of residence, and then make sure that you're speaking into the microphone so it can be recorded.
Yes, sir. My name is Tammy Wilson. I live at 571 Old Kenora Road. I guess I'm still the rep for this month, but there's just 2 ordinances that are kind of making their way through. I just left a Park and Recreation Committee meeting, which is normally no one attends, but it's packed house tonight. Ordinance number 2520 is before it, asking whether or not basically the public wants to change Pioneer Park back to Alaska land. In that ordinance, it reads things like explicitly, let's see, Pioneer Park Master Plan explicitly identifies the name Pioneer Park as controversial, noting community feedback that it is alienating the region's Alaska Native people and is non-inclusive. The name change resolves a documented community concern, and we should not be celebrating one historical period. Well, what I can tell you, there was pretty much nobody in the room that believed any of those 3 statements I just gave you. It will be returning to, sadly enough, the group that I left behind has not told me if the meeting has ended yet or whether or not they have made a recommendation or not. The administration had decided to stay neutral on it, which no surprise there. And so it should be coming back to us next couple weeks. The other ordinance that we had was for electronic collars. If you've never been to an animal control committee meeting, I would say please don't go. It's definitely an interesting way of looking at things. So it will also be coming back. We did get recommendation at a 5-4 vote. It no longer has anything to do with electronic collars whatsoever. They don't like the words, never want to hear them out of my mouth again. And so therefore I'm going to be gracious enough, but we have what is voice control. And so basically the discussion goes, where can I have my dog? And actually it has to do with cats, rabbits, chickens, but dogs is what I'm staying with. So for instance, in the Chena Rec area, you can have your animals off a leash in the backcountry. But with the leash laws that we have in the borough, that would trump the state, and you would have to have them on a leash. So what we're doing now is that when designated that they don't have to be on a leash, they would still have to be under voice control. You would also be able to do it when you played fetch with your dog in a public spot, as long as it didn't say that the dogs had to be on a leash. So I didn't quite get where I wanted to go, but it got a little bit further because, as technology does change, sometimes our ways do, but at this point, the committee was not willing to go there, and so we will take their recommendation and take it there. And, the sad part is most of our laws are made for the people who won't follow them anyway and traps everybody else in it. But, that is the reality. And so, every little bit we can make, we just want to make sure that people aren't hurt, but at the same time that they can do activities that kids especially like to do with them. So both of those will be coming up. We also started our budget sessions about a couple weeks ago with the clerk and law to start with. Come the month of April, we will be just filled with all the budget books. Coming up in May, we will have public testimony at that point. And so we would look forward to any kind of input you'd like to make. And that's all I got. Thank you.
Do you have any questions? Okay, thank you for joining us this evening. Anyone else wish to come forth for citizens' comments?
So I'm Howard Rixey from Salcha. Actually, I'd like to really speak from three different fronts, if I may. One from the North Pole Championship perspective, and one for Chamber, and then just as a private citizen. So North Pole Championship, we were really excited. The 50th year of running the North Pole Championship went off very well. We had nearly 60 mushers and over 200 dogs out there. Nearly 50 volunteers and over 500 volunteer hours there. And we did 200 free dog sled rides for kids and some older kids too, if they were kids at heart. We had several positive comments or moments in the coverage as far as the media goes. And of course, some of you know, we were able to recreate the business civic leader race with 3 mayors, the vice wing commander from Eielson, state trooper captain there, and then 2 of you city council people there, and we greatly appreciate that. And matter of fact, I gave each of y'all a commemorative t-shirt there, so we really appreciate that. It was definitely a true community celebration there. And I did want to do a public thank you to Edie Forrest. She was one of the mushers, and then Jason Dunlap. Both of those ran their teams, 4 laps or 2-round laps there. So that was really exciting. So we greatly appreciate the city's involvement and support in that. I mean, the cops were out there patrolling the area, so we didn't get stolen from or whatever the case may be and all that. So we appreciate that. So that's it on the North Pole Championship. But I will say on the civic leader thing, we may choose to do that every year. So for you council people that didn't take us up on that opportunity this year, your turn's coming. So anyways, from the chamber perspective here, first off, our next luncheon is March 26th. We have 3 speakers. One's going to be United Way. One's going to be the food bank and how give us an update on their biodigester machine that they put into operation last year. And then the other is going to be the central recycling facility. So anyways, so we encourage you guys to come out for that. The other thing, I know that y'all approach the economic analysis and supporting plan, and it's kind of tabled to the side right now. From a chamber's perspective, we have wholeheartedly embraced that, and we've kind of changed our business model around that particular focus in the supporting plan. And we really encourage the city to readdress potentially adopting that analysis and plan in some form. The other is, so the chamber has been working, I'll say feverishly, to try to come up with an event almost every month that is large scale. And the one that we use as a baseline for comparison is the Cruising with Santa Car Show and Street Fair. And that given day there, just shy of 5,000 spectators or participants there, and almost $100,000 of money running around in that economic impact there. So we've been trying to do that. And one of the things that we were trying to do, and we were scheduled to do, was bring a music fest to us, set up similar to Cruising with Santa in June. Unfortunately, we received, in our follow-up and whatnot, we received an email from it. If I may, I'd like to read this.
So it says, after watching the North Pole council meetings over the last few months, we've decided that it may be better to stay in Esther until a few council members are no longer on the council. Thank you for your time. Maybe in the future, when the city council stops playing Games of Thrones and becomes more concerned with the actual people of North Pole. I'm just sharing that with you because, I mean, it's an impact. Which brings me to my comments as far as the citizen goes. So, and I just want to share with you, for a point of reference, some of you may or may not know my background. But between my background, education and experience, I represent over 40 years in human resource management, organizational behavior and management, industrial engineering, which is otherwise known as designing most efficient organizations, and lastly, strategic planning. Having said that, I watched the last meeting and the executive session that was made public, and I just want to offer these foods for thought. There's no criticisms or anything like that, okay? So I don't want this to be offensive here. I don't believe the mayor or the council have done anything with malice. All are trying to do the right thing on behalf of the city, but as one council member said, your tone matters. So the manner in which all of you conduct business creates an image to the public. And hopefully it's an image that fosters confidence. And as the city's mantra says, where the spirit of Christmas lives year round. So collectively, I think you're missing the mark. The withdrawal of the Music Fest is just one example of the effect of your imagery, what your imagery is creating. There's a second and third order effect of what you do and how you say it. And so these things here are just some things I picked up during the last meeting. I just want, from my experience, especially from an HR organizational behavior perspective, I want to offer. So first off, on staff meetings, the primary purpose of a staff meeting is for the leader in question to give orders of the day, orders of the week, and to align the team members in their tasks with and goals and facilitate communications and drive productivity. They can serve as a collaborative space to share updates and make decisions and solve problems and build team unity. As far as invitations go, the meeting, I don't know what that meant, but in terms of the meetings, the meeting in.
Mayor, did you want to give him another minute?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you very much. I'll just short it up there. So invitations usually are extended from whoever leads that meeting. Is normally not by the participants themselves. I'll leave that there. As far as sharing a former employee's pay rate is truly outside the norm. Normally an applicant is going to see the pay scale that's in question. They're going to try to make their bid for their best pay scale that they want based on their skill set. And whoever is the selecting official is trying to get the best bargain for that skill set. So let's be there. And then the other is, here's a question to you there, and I'm not sure on this. Does the city actually have an employee administrative grievance policy and procedure? Meaning I'm an employee, I have a grievance, I submit it, and it goes up through different levels there for review. And I would just say here, there may be an opportunity for us to have a reciprocal relationship with the Fairbanks HR folks here. Not all HRs are the same. Some specialize in placement and recruiting, some specialize in labor relations, some do employee relations and everything else here. And there might be an opportunity here to create a 3-echelon or a 3-tier perspective on dealing with employee grievances. Okay.
Any questions for Mr. Rixey? I'd like to thank you. I know that you had 3 different hats this evening and way to cram that into 6 minutes.
All right. Thank you.
We appreciate all that you do.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Jomo Stewart, and I live in Taku, Westgate, Fairbanks. And yes, so hi, I'm Jomo Stewart, President of Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation. I'm actually here I was going to give public comment on the bed tax ordinance and say thank you for your consideration. But while I'm here, I thought I would just alert the council to a few things that we have going over at FEDC and really going around the community. So right at the very top, the 2026 Business Climate Survey for our community has hit the street. And so it is available. We do this, we've done this the last couple of years. Again, it's a business climate survey, just trying to get the temperature of our business community and how they feel about the economy and let us know if there are any challenges we should be working on or any opportunities we should be pursuing. And so that is on the street. It was directly distributed to a list of about 300 folks, but thank you very much. It's actually being pushed out by a number of our partners. And so I wanted to thank the North Pole Chamber because they did include it in their newsletter. And so if you receive their newsletter, please know you can find it there so you can reply. It only takes about 5 or 10 minutes. It's also available on the FEDC website, so you can find it there. Please know that it's going to close on April April 2nd. And then, of course, we'll take the results, compile them, and we'll be releasing them as the report, Business Climate Survey report, as we did last year. The SEDS update, speaking of surveys. So the community's comprehensive economic development strategy, the 2026 process for the update has commenced. The roundtables are actually going to be beginning this week. It usually gets updated. In fact, it was created and usually gets updated under a roundtable format, which means people get invited to come sit and discuss this from different industry sectors or industry, what do they call, influencers. So if you do get invited, I hope you will please come and participate. Again, it'll be going for about the next 2 or 3 weeks on all kinds, again, from agriculture to energy to small business to you go down the list. But last year, because we understand that that can be a bit exclusive, frankly, we went ahead and tried to set up a mechanism that would allow just regular citizens to weigh in as well. So we created a survey tool, and that will be offered again this year. So whether you're invited to the roundtables or again, I think I can thank Howard in advance for pushing that out. If you'll reply to the survey, again, the comprehensive economic strategy, it's for all of our community. And so we hope you'll weigh in. And then finally, again, one more shout out to North Pole Chamber, the accelerator, the small business accelerator that FEDC hosts is actually starting tomorrow for the spring cohort. Again, we do this twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall. And so we have all the participants, we have all the partners lined up, and yeah, it actually starts tomorrow. So a big shout of thanks, though, of course, to the North Pole Chamber, who not only brings us some accelerants, some folks to, again, help learn the skills so they can successfully start their businesses in our community, but they let us use the North Pole Welcoming Center as the second physical location. So it's not just held exclusively in Fairbanks. We have a location here to make it more convenient for your residents, our neighbors. And those are all the things. That's all I got. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jomo. Any questions for Mr. Stewart? Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else signed up for citizens' comments or in the room who would like to give citizens' comments?
I have nobody hanging online to give citizens comments this evening.
Okay. Seeing none, we'll close citizens' comments for the evening. That brings us on to item 5, approval of the agenda. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda, please?
I'd move to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
So moved and seconded. Discussion on the agenda?
And then I would move to amend the agenda to add items 6A, B, and C, which are March 2nd, 2026 work session minutes, March 2nd, 2026 committee of a whole minutes, and March 2nd, 2026 regular meeting minutes to the consent agenda, along with item 12B, resolution 2026-02, establishing the rate of tax levy for 2026 real property taxes to the consent agenda, along with item 12D, request to council Alina Reed, Chair of Bed Tax Grant Distribution Committee.
I'll second that. Thank you for that. Any further discussion on those items or any other agenda items? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the agenda as amended, Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster, Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes.
On the agenda for the evening, Mr. Schuster, Mr. Williams, Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Claus, Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote? Seeing none.
Those both passed with 7.
Thank you. We consented item 6 completely, which moves us on to item 7, communications from the mayor. Last week, I attended the Fairbanks Chamber Luncheon where Governor Dunleavy talked about the gas line project, projected state budgets, budget issues, and the possibility of a state sales tax. It was a high overview of some of his thoughts and preparation moving forward. Happy he came to Fairbanks and was able to present that. I attended a new gas line Tiger Team meeting related to the construction of the gas line and things in the interior that we should have in preparation of the gas line any ways that we can assist and how we're going to handle as a team the local workforce for the gas line. A lot of very difficult topics on something that hasn't been 100% yet. But if we don't start planning for the gas line, it will end up like past plans, not going anywhere. We had CFO interviews last week. We made a job offer that was accepted this morning, and our new CFO will start April 1st with some training, work that week, and then he'll work with our CFO the entire month of April until our CFO retires there May 1st, unfortunately. But happy to have him, and he will be at our next council meeting. You all will be able to know who he is then.
What's his name?
I don't feel comfortable saying that in the meeting, but I'm not sure if he gave notice at his current workplace or not. That's why. Thank you for that, Councilman Williams. I was honored last week to speak with the chiefs, elders, and delegation at the Tanana Chiefs Conference and Convention that happened at 8 Star Event Center. I'd like to thank them for coming to town. I know that they had their meeting in Fairbanks. Quite a few of them stay in the North Pole area and visit North Pole, so it certainly helps drive some economic tourism to our area, and I'd like to thank them for holding their conference like they do every year here in Fairbanks. Once again, I'd like to thank the North Pole Championship races for sponsoring the Civic Leader Dog Sled races. A special thanks to Jason and Amy Dunlap of Dunlap Racing Sled Dog Kennels, Edie Forrest of Sunrise Kennels, and the participants, the Deputy Commander of Eielson, Colonel Mullen, Mayor Hopkins, Mayor O'Neill, Captain Eric Spitzer, and our two council people, Councilman Williams and Councilwoman Rolfe. I'd also like to thank the sponsors who made that possible. It was a huge success. Lots of volunteers helped make that possible. And can't say thank you enough. 50th year, that's a big one. Far as community goes, Military Youth of the Year statewide competition is happening next week here in North Pole and at Eielson. This year, there'll be 6 exceptional youth around North Pole, and that competition is based on leadership, academic success, service to others, and those with strong character. That will be out at Eielson Saturday the 21st. I'd like to say special thanks to Kendall, Ottawa Fairbanks, the Boys and Girls Club of America, Hotel North Pole, all of those volunteers and parents for making that happen. It's great that they're here in North Pole this year and having that happen at Eielson. Last weekend, we had the Moose Creek Classic that occurred out at Chena Lakes. I don't know if anybody made it out there or not. There was a ton of people out there for a one-day race, and it's great to see that happen. And hopefully that turns into an annual event. A lot of people coming in from a lot of places, Fairbanks, Delta, Tok, to come and race. It was great to have all those folks here, and would really like to say thank you for making that happen, everybody that was involved in that. Tomorrow's St. Patrick's Day, if you forgot. Just want to say celebrate safe. And with that, I'll take any questions of the mayor.
Mayor, quick question.
Yes, Councilman Claus.
So in light of what you had mentioned during invocation and also what Mr. Rixey had mentioned about the spirit of working together in things, I want to ask a couple of questions. I'm going to ask them with due respect, with the ultimate goal of improving things here for the people in North Pole, especially the taxpayers. So last session, you were kind enough to say that you were not going to use ChatGPT. I'm sure you recall that, which is great. Now, I've heard that you want to use a different AI platform, so I'm hoping if you'll agree to just hang back for a while, like you sort of agreed to the last time, until we have an AI policy in place that's been real well researched, approved, and voted on by the council. I'd appreciate it because I don't want any more city liability for that kind of stuff. I think you probably understand it may have just been an oversight on your part. I don't know, but I'm bringing it up because I think it's important and I think it's timely. So I don't mean any malice towards it, but I would like you to consider just kind of wiping out the AI stuff for a while until the city council can get together and approve a new policy.
So Councilman Claus, where did you hear that from, that I was interested in using another form of AI? I would really like to know.
From one of the employees that we supervise as council.
Okay. And um, so I didn't say that, nor did I request that. What I did request, Councilman Claus, was access to ChatGPT, because the city is still paying for an account that I can't access to council. I can't access it to pull off any public record that remains on that account. So I did ask for access, and I don't know how access to ChatGPT was shut off at the city. But I did request access to that 2 weeks ago. That was removed from city servers as a possible use and a privacy concern for everything across the city. So that may be where some of this is coming from. I can't really speak to it because I don't know what you heard other than what you said.
With the lawsuit that we just settled, with the city just settled,
Yep.
I just want to make sure that we're not going to continue to be liable for the mistakes that were made with the open records requests. And since it's our employees' responsibility to the state to make sure that all those open records requests are honored and fulfilled, when someone stymies it, either through their own fault or by just not knowing what the rules are or how to deal with them, that creates a liability for the city. And we've already paid out like $17,000 for this thing so far. And I would hate to see that kind of thing continue. So I'm asking in a nice way if you would just kind of recognize that ChatGPT and other AI platforms kind of fall under that thing, especially with the open records aspect of stuff. So I'm asking you specifically not to put the city and especially our employee in a bad position by making it difficult for people to access records. You say you can't access them, but a lot of that goes back to what the lawsuit was, and the lawsuit is a public record. So if you would agree to something like that, that would be great, I think.
It is a public record. Yeah. Thank you for that, Councilman Claus. Any other
Thank you,
questions?
Mayor.
Yeah,
Please, Councilman Williams.
there was several times I've came here to go to a staff meeting and you wanted me to leave. Can you express to all the council members here, because maybe one of these guys want, or young lady would want to go to a council meeting. My focus and my game plan to be there is to, when something is said that maybe somebody don't hear everything, or maybe something is said wrong that shouldn't be said. And maybe I can correct it there before it goes any further.
Okay, that's the same question you asked me last time, and I'll give you the same answer. As council, you're part of a legislative body that makes decisions for our city as a legislative body. If you come to a staff meeting and hear the city's business, and let's say 3 members that are at our staff meeting, and then you go and tell a 4th member, essentially you have operated under a serial meeting, which is against the Open Meetings Act. And that's my concern for having council people at staff meetings.
But we never had that concern before.
We
And-
did actually have that concern before, Mr.
Can you
Williams.
show me that in writing? Because
I
show me that in writing. Show me that in writing. and I'll let it go.
Okay, any other questions of the mayor?
There's just one
Oh,
last question.
Please, Councilman
Same,
Claus.
same tone. A couple of meetings ago, you exercised your right to convert an executive session into an open session, as it were, for lack of a better expression. And when you did that, we've heard sort of criticism from the general public to a degree that we're not asking the questions internally or privately, perhaps, the way a well-working, and Mr. Rixey would know what I'm talking about, organization would, to head off any kind of controversies, et cetera. Since we're trying to do exactly that and get the staff and get the council and get mayor, you're also a member of council, as you know, all on the same page, that's what we wanted to do. And I understand your reluctance to do it, but I think since now the general public is becoming involved, that was not our initial intention, which is why we scheduled an executive session. I'm not sure the people out in the public realize what all those ramifications are, or what your rights are, or what the city council's rights are as far as protecting the city. So in the spirit of cooperation, I'm hoping that we'll find a way, whether we need another facilitator or whatever, to get everybody on the same page again so we can sort of head off a lot of this controversy.
Okay, since you didn't really state it as a question, I'm going to answer it.
Could you please answer?
I certainly will. So an executive session that's called against anyone inside the city that could affect their character, like last meeting, is allowed to have it be a public and open session. Had the council brought forth a concern of HR matters rather than mayor's job performance, that would have then remained an executive session, but that isn't what was listed as an action item. It was mayor's job performance, and I thought it'd be best, in the true voice of transparency, to have any job performance that may involve questions about my job performance be allowed for absolutely everyone to hear, see, and witness. And very unfortunate that it wasn't described correctly in the executive session as an HR internal matter. It was described as mayor's job performance without any sort of job performance criteria being listed. So next time anyone would like to bring forward an executive session, and two council members certainly can do that, maybe address that correctly so that you get the answers and the result that you're looking for.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Klaus. Please, Councilman Skips.
I just have a quick comment. Since I didn't make last council meeting, I did go online and I listened to it. The only thing I have is if Councilman Williams could speak into the mic. There was a lot of times he spoke, you could not hear what he was saying. So that's just my comment I have about that.
Thank you. I think that goes for all of us. Any other questions of the mayor? No. Okay. Seeing none. That moves us on to communications from department heads and borough representative. Let's start. Do we have a borough representative? Oh, Councilwoman Rolfe, please.
Yeah, I attended the Borough Assembly meeting on Thursday. It was a very short meeting. I think we were done at 7:30. The only thing really on the meeting agenda was to non-contest a transfer in ownership of a marijuana grow operation and a business. And they chose not to protest on those, but that was really all that was on. And then Assemblymember Wilson already kind of updated us on what's coming down the pike soon.
Okay, super. Any questions from our borough representative? Okay, Madam Clerk.
Yeah, I just want to give 2 thumbs up to all of our council members. You have gained full compliance with your APOC reporting. So 2 thumbs up. I don't have as loud as an audience as the news minor, but I just wanted to say good job to council. Along with other council things that are coming up in the future, I know July 15th to July 29th sounds like a long way off, but it's not. It's just around the corner. Those are the council filing dates. And if you would like to run for North Pole City Council, start considering it. July 15th to the 29th is like literally right around the corner. So.
Okay, any questions of the clerk? Okay, thank you. Chiefs, you want to rock, paper, scissors? All right. Chief Smith.
Just a quick update for all of you. Our new recruit, well, he's got 7 years of experience, so he's not a recruit, but he's doing very well. He's in first phase right now, so you may see him out and about. Make sure you wave at him, because if he doesn't wave back, that's actually scoreable on his daily evaluation. So make sure you give him a little bit of a hard time, wave at him, see if he waves back, let me know. Ask folks in the public to just be aware, there's a lot of snow, especially piled up around some intersections. So we've had some issues with lack of visibility and people maybe not giving themselves as much time as they could. I just ask that people take a little extra time, slow down, also be aware. Some of you may have experienced this. Some roads have been cleared, some side streets have not. So my street has about a 9 to 10 inch drop from my street down onto Plaque Road. So just be aware of that as you're getting out and about, so that doesn't end up causing some type of a traffic accident. We are moving forward in a very positive direction with the canine program. We are starting the selection process for a dog this week, actually, through the outfit that we're partnering with in Ohio. It's been a really encouraging process thus far, as I've had the opportunity to talk with 10 plus businesses in the North Pole and Fairbanks area that are all very much in support, and building some of those connections is a really important part of this program, not just getting the animal, but having some of these connections. So that's been really good to see. I'll have more updates for you as we move forward, but we will have a dog selected here very shortly. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll take those.
Please, Councilman Schuster.
I know you gave this before. When would the dog estimated to get here?
So the handler would be going down late May or early June for about 5 weeks. And so depending on their exact start date for their academy, I would anticipate the dog would be back in the area in July.
Okay, do you guys have a plan for a vehicle? Could one be ready that fast?
Not one that is fully outfitted with the hot pop cage and everything. There is a workaround, a temporary workaround that we can use until that type of a vehicle is obtained.
What if council were to approve a vehicle, how fast do you think that would get? What would the timeline be like on that? October or?
Yes, it would be fall time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please, Councilman Brandt.
When I met with you in your office a couple months back, several months ago, and you first brought this up before even bringing it to council, we talked about the vehicle, and you said that you could retrofit one of our current vehicles from $4,000 to $6,000 it would cost. Have you looked into retrofitting one of our current vehicles?
That is, as we discussed, kind of a worst case scenario option, because it would involve shipping a cage up here and then installing it in a car that is already used for another purpose. So my intent would be to have the regular vehicle replacement schedule, just have that car be then utilized as a dual purpose canine and prisoner transport vehicle for the car purchased for this year. It makes much more sense to have it be that from the start. That way we're not pulling a cage out, putting one back in, but it is theoretically possible to do that, to have it retrofitted with just a cage.
Be the time factor. Okay, here we go. What would be the time factor on the cage being shipped up here? How long?
I don't know.
Any other questions for Chief Smith? Thank you, Chief. Appreciate your report. Chief Heineken.
Good evening, everybody. I don't have any formal report, but I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Chief Heineken this evening? Please.
How
Councilman Williams, go ahead.
often do you guys take the fire truck out just to warm it up?
We weekly at bare minimums, depending on temperature. I mean, but it's usually out much more than weekly. I mean, if
At
we
least
were
one-
to ever have a slow period where it wasn't out itself,
Okay.
we have routine checks where on all of our apparatus, whether it's a fire truck, the platform, the ambulances, they all go through regular routine checks throughout the week.
Okay.
Councilman Schuster.
Yeah, the name of the test is slipping my mind, but a while back you guys went through a yearly for insurance rates.
Yeah, our ISO rate.
ISO, yeah.
Yeah, we did receive word that our ISO remained the same, which is good news.
Any other questions? Okay, seeing none. Thank you, chiefs. Thank you, staff. Thank you, Borough Representative. Brings us on to item 10, ongoing project report. We have none. That brings us on to item 11A, unfinished business. Can I get a motion, please, for resolution 2025-14?
Move to approve resolution 2025-14, 2025 bed tax grant distribution.
Second.
Okay, so moved and seconded. Before we go any further on this, I'd like to state a conflict of interest. In bed tax code 4-.09.025 section 7, subsection AI, as odd as that is, asks that any committee member who is also on a board not be allowed to participate in that committee. Since I am as an ex officio of FEDCO, that leaves me with a conflict of interest. And per our city code, 2.14.110 conflict of interest, a member of a board who has a conflict of interest in any matter under investigation or consideration must disclose and shall not participate in the matter. So with that being stated, I would like to pass the gavel on to Pro Tem David Brandt and remove myself from the dais during this discussion.
Any discussion?
Well, I had a few questions, Mayor Pro Tem.
Citizens' comments first.
We're at staff report prior to public comment. I don't know if there was a staff report from anybody.
I think everybody knows how we got to this point, so let's just go with public comments.
If anybody would like to comment, I'll put 5 minutes on the clock, and when we arrive at 5 minutes, I'll ding the bell just to let you know. Mayor Pro Tem Brandt, if they go over 5 minutes, you have the ability to give them another minute.
Your name and address.
Hi, my name is Amanda Jones. I live on Eielson Farm Road. First, I want to say, based on the tone of the meeting, how it started already, and all the things that you guys have recently discussed, I appreciate the mayor excused himself from this conversation. I know during several bed tax grant committee meetings, there was concern in regards to his participation, et cetera. I hope that that actually lends towards the transparency and the whatever it is you guys are seeking out of him. So I just wanted to publicly comment that. I'm proud to serve as Commander, Interior Alaska, American Legion Post 99. I'm excited to share with you the cemetery construction begins April 25th. That was just recently released in the news today. So I'm super excited that that's actually moving forward. We're one step closer to having a final resting place for Interior Alaska's heroes. I hope you had the opportunity to read the email that I sent to you. I'm really sorry it was last minute. I've been really slammed at work and life. I hope you'll take it into consideration this evening when deliberating. If you've not seen it, please take a look before deciding. I know how important public testimony is. Therefore, I am speaking today. I've spoken to you all and both the bed tax grant committees on numerous occasions, so I won't disrespect your time by repeating my previous comments. I want to simply highlight your support for our project is very important, and it's impossible without you. I know how hard your job must be today to sort through the municipal code and apply intent, as well as following the code for compliance. Every organization that submitted a request is worthy of this funding, and I'm hopeful you will do the right thing within the intent and spirit of the bed tax grant. Taxes suck, but the cool thing is you get to use this tax money for good. I encourage you to be deliberate in your discussion this evening and intentional with your decision. I highly encourage you to first decide which organizations you can and will contribute to. Then I encourage you to consider putting it into AI, although you guys may or may not want to use it. It's a really great source, like it or not. And then ask AI for its recommendations, which can alleviate your personal biases and will ensure fairness, as well as go a long way regarding transparency, which this community needs from you. I plugged the following into AI to get my recommendations, actually. And the organization to be, I plugged in the organization to be distributed to, the total amount available for distribution, the amount each organization requested, and I asked AI to distribute it evenly and fairly. Thank you again for what you do. I'm happy to answer any questions, and thanks in advance for your support.
I do have one question. You referenced an email. Do you know when this one was sent out?
I'm really sorry. I sent it today. I know it was super short notice.
I didn't get it. I didn't get
an
today.
email from you
Did you
either.
email it?
Actually, the last email I got from you was in February.
Well. Maybe my email is not working. May I have this few seconds to find?
Yeah, you're in question time, so you're, and Amanda, if you do send it to me, I can distribute it to council as well.
Roger that. Darn it.
Any other
Okay.
questions? Thank you.
Sir, may I just clarify really quickly which email addresses? So I sent it to the email addresses that are on file, deltabrandt@northpolealaska.org, and using the same, whatever y'all's email addresses are. BravoWilliams@northpolealaska.org. Sierra Rolfe @northpolealaska.org. Delta Skips, Sierra Claus, Juliet Schuster, and then the mayor. So if y'all didn't get it, maybe there's a problem with your server, because it does definitely say that it was sent at 15:02 hours today. So that's really concerning if y'all aren't receiving them.
I received an email at 4:57 from somebody else, so our server is working correctly. I did not receive an email from you.
If you send it to me, Amanda, I'll forward it to everybody.
Roger that. I'll send it right now. Thank y'all for your time. Is there any other questions? Okay, thank y'all.
My name is Caitlin Poirier. I've talked to pretty much all of you guys a few times now. I'm from, I live off of Holmes Road, but I'm here representing the North Pole Grange, number 6, as far as our North Pole 4th of July America 250 celebration this year. I understand that there were quite a few things that have happened within City Council, and I just want to thank you guys so much for making this decision. I know how hard it is. And no matter what happens at the end of this, I want to make sure that we invite you guys all to our event. And I want to produce the best event possible for North Pole, regardless of anything that happens. So I just wanted to thank you guys for being up here, and thank you guys for listening to everybody and going through all of this.
So during the committee meeting, the second bed tax committee meeting, that was pointed out there was an issue with your application being incomplete. And it was, you did not put down the state of Alaska and the city of North Pole business license. do you have those business licenses?
Yes, we do, and we can get those for you guys.
And I just want to say yours was one of the more complete applications, believe it or not. And so we will have to rectify that this evening. When you turned in your application, those licenses were not required. The ordinance changed after your application.
Correct.
We will be.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Are there any questions? Anybody else?
Jomo Stewart, President, Fairbanks Economic Development Corporation, resident Taku Westgate. And I just wanted to say thank you for your consideration, pretty simply. Again, I know you all have been working on this very much. It's been a really great partnership, actually, between Fairbanks Economic Development and this community of North Pole, particularly over the last few years. We really stepped up after Buzz Otis passed away. You know, Buzz Otis had been a real driver for economic development here in the community, and when he passed away, there was a bit of a gap, a hole. And I know that FEDC, you know, we can't fully fill that void, but we wanted to do our best to try, again, because we serve the whole community. So it's been a really great partnership. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much for your consideration. And I just want to make myself available in case you all had any questions, because I know we've gone over the request a few times.
Okay, thank you
very much.
So Howard Rixey, representing the chamber there. One, I greatly appreciate the council's efforts in trying to, for lack of better terms, clean up the process. And I really hope that you guys consider my recommended changes to the entire code as far as bed tax goes in the process there. In terms of our application there, I just want to reiterate here, I believe we asked for somewhere around $100,000 there, of which a small portion of that was dedicated to the Welcome Center Construction Fund. The remaining was all to directly to the operation of the Welcome Center and marketing various events and what have you there. So if what's on the resolution right now is adopted there, that would just be solely dedicated to operating the Welcome Center. And that is the bare bone minimum for operating the Welcome Center. Should we not get that there, we would have to look at scaling back the Welcome Center operations. That's all I have to say. Any questions?
Thank you, Howard.
Hello again. My name is Tammy Wilson. I live at 571 Old Canoro. John Poirier is unable to make it. I believe he's on a plane, so I told him I'd come on behalf of him for the North Pole Grange. Just so you know, for the Grange Gallery, I want to say thank you. I do sit on that board, and we're very much appreciated that we are getting some funding, or hopefully we are. Maybe I should wait till after the meeting. Sorry. I guess it was a little frustrating. I can hear the frustration even in the committee meeting. The Grange was zeroed out because they left two blanks on a city business license and a state business license. In 2024, they left those two spots open as well, and they were able to get funds. So there would be no reason that they would believe that they should have filled those in again. There's no way to amend at this point when they had their state license and their city license. And the city license they got based on what was changed in the ordinance, but they were unable to do that before the committee meeting because there's no process to be able to do that. But I think what you really need to decide is not just about the bed tax, but this one's a little bit unique. This is about the 250th anniversary. But it's just about also the 4th of July celebration, which has been moved all over the city. I remember you when you used to be at the elementary school and then the high school where just kind of ended and you didn't have any way to get your flip back or your people back, you know, and then at the Grange on that. But it's my understanding that they took over this because the city no longer wanted to do it. So if the city doesn't want to do it and you want somebody else to do it and you want to help with the funding, maybe it needs to be some other kind of a grant. I mean, it still could come out of the bed tax grant, but to come here and basically have to have them beg for money for something they took over the city to make it special for residents here in the city of North Pole and in the Badger area. A lot of people come out here to do that. I think that may need to be addressed another way. The other frustrating part is the bed tax is just not even being followed. I mean, and it's pretty simple. You submit your application before the cutoff date. You would think when you brought it to the counter, right, and they stamped it, that it was complete and it was good, right? Well, that's not what happens. You just do it, it gets stamped, and it doesn't really get looked at until it's time for it to do. Then you're supposed to execute a contract. I haven't been able to find any contracts from the 2024, much less the 2025. And that contract's supposed to state this is what you're going to use the money for, right? I'm going to sign the application, then I'm going to do that. Well, when I went and looked at too, FEDC and the North Pole Booster Club didn't even sign their applications. And that is a failure because that application says, I'm going to do the things I said I'm going to do in here. So although they got money and the Grange did not because they left two things blank, but signed it and agreeing to everything just baffles me altogether. Then you're supposed to file your paperwork to say, I used the money for this, right? And then I get the rest of my money. Some did it, some didn't. Now, you don't have to do it right away. You just can't get the remainder of your money, and you can't get the next amount of money if it's been allocated to you. So you all just really need to figure out what you want to do, because it's, it's hard on everybody when there seems to be rules and nobody's following them. So I know you have a lot of money, but to me, I think you should look and say, this application has everything in it it's supposed to. Maybe everything doesn't, and I'll let you know on the Grange. I don't know what musical events count that shouldn't be used for bed tax money. Although I'm pretty sure if you had a pretty big concert out of here, a lot of people would come and you probably get a lot of bed tax. But hey, I'm not telling you what to do. But there is about $1,500 in the application for the Grange that is to that. And so if you're going to abide by your own rules, then you really wouldn't be able to give the $11,500, but you absolutely should be able to give the $10,000. If you okayed the application last year, you need to apply it to this year as well. And as far as the other two entities that didn't sign it, honestly, I don't know how you could give them money because they're not obligated to follow any of the rules that came in with it. So what's fair to one, what's fair to all. But I do want to thank the bed tax group. I went back and I watched the tape. I want to say thank you for Mr. Roth because I was unable to make it to either one of those meetings. And it is good to be able to watch them and find out exactly what was said so I could come here with that information. And I did pull the 24 and 25 applications. So that's how I know what was filled out and what was not. So I believe in verifying things before I say it. So thank you very much.
Any questions?
Sir,
Like to comment?
thank you.
No.
I have nobody online waiting to speak to this.
Okay. Council discussion.
I have a motion to amend. I actually wrote it out so that it might be easier to follow.
She has given me the written motion to amend, so when she reads it,
Okay, so my motion to amend, my proposed amendment is to remove lines 23 through 33 and replace them with the following. So it's basically redoing what the distributions would be. For North Pole Chamber of Commerce, they would get 75,000. For Bad Rascals, Artisans and Partisans, 10,000. North Pole Grange, 10,000. North Pole Grange Gallery and Studio would remain the same at 20,000. Interior Alaska American Legion Post 99 would remain at 5,000. And that's my proposed distribution and amendment.
Have a second.
Second.
And I can explain how I got to these numbers. So North Pole Chamber of Commerce, kind of as Mr. Rixey was saying, the $75,000 covers the cost to operate the Welcome Center, which I think is a great asset and has been. He's come and given plenty of testimony at various meetings throughout the year of how many people have come and gone through there. And then the other 10,000 is for all the events that they put on. that I think everybody can agree is great for the city of North Pole. For Bad Rascals, Artisans, and Partisans, in their application, they had 3 different things that they were looking for money for. The one that appears to meet the requirements as set out in our code is their event that they want to hold on July 4th and bring in vendors and artists into North Pole and have an actual event at the Fifth Avenue Park. The requested funding for that was $10,000. So that's how I came to that one. The North Pole Grange, again, their ask was for money to put on the 250th anniversary. The 10,000 removes the 1,500 for musical performers, as everybody had kind of argued about whether that falls into entertainment and if it was allowed expense. To take away that argument, I just removed it from the proposed money they would get. For North Pole Grange Gallery, I left it at the 20,000 that the bed tax grant committee had discussed and came to as finding that was an appropriate amount. And same with the Interior Alaska American Legion. They had discussed that application and found that the 5,000 was an appropriate number as well.
So as part of a discussion, thanks, that sounded great. Along those lines and what Tammy had mentioned earlier, most of us on the council here went through the applications with a fine tooth comb. We found a lot of deficiencies here and there. So it goes back to us having to revamp that entire bed tax committee thing, the code, what's expected, who's allowed to apply, what goes on from beginning to end, because this has been kind of a disaster this year. And this isn't the first time it's been a disaster, but it's a pretty bad one. So this seems, what the councilwoman said just a moment ago, seems like a fair and equitable take on this to me without having to go through this entire thing. Again, not the presentations, but pointing out who did what and who didn't do what. It was kind of obvious to us what the deficiencies were, and we could probably disqualify almost everybody from applying this time around or from getting any money. So rather than do that and have just increased public furor and any people mistaking what we're doing as like a mistake or anything untoward, I think we should probably proceed with this amendment and put the money where our mouths are, as Mr. Rickley said, where the spirit of Christmas lives year round.
So I do have a question real quick. That leaves us over 23,000 for out of the 143. So
Yes, and I
what's the
understand
plan
that. I
with
looked at the code, and our code says that it's to be distributed by our discretion. The remaining approximately 23,000 would remain in the bed tax grant fund to go to assumably this year's applicants when they apply again in October. I didn't believe that the other ones qualified, and I guess I forgot to mention for the removal of Fairbanks Economic Development Committee, they didn't sign their application. It wasn't signed. It wasn't dated, which basically means you didn't complete it. And the Booster Club also did not sign or date theirs, and they also did not fill out their 90-10 report. So we can't disperse money to them until that's completed.
Yeah, I think we could probably look at, like Mr. Claus said, all these applications with a fine tooth comb and pick apart every single one of them. But I don't think that doesn't make some of these organizations deserving of money. I mean, I guess maybe they all will hire a lawyer next year and to fill out the applications. I don't think that that's what we're trying to do. Secondly, we vote on this committee to, we all voted to approve this committee. And for us, they ran 2 really good meetings. And then for us to go back and tear it apart and change everything, all the work they did, we're not going to have anybody that wants to sit on a committee for the city of North Pole. I think, they asked the right questions. I think they ran, like I said, 2 really good meetings. And so for us to then get it as council, and tear apart everything they did, I don't think is right. And so I will not be supporting this amendment.
Yes, I agree with Councilman Schuster, what he said. You know, they formed the committee was voted, we got the committee for a reason. So, I mean, if the council's gonna come in here and adjust the numbers, then why even have the committee in the first place? We trusted the committee to do their thing. The committee did a good job. It is what it is. We like some things, we don't like some things. We just go with it. Thank you.
I do have a follow-up. I do think it is unjust that the North Pole Grange was zeroed out. I would support a different amendment to fund them.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Go ahead.
since Amanda asked for you guys to hear her or read her email, is it okay if I just read the section where she breaks down what her email said, that since you guys haven't read it? Is that?
Well, it's appropriate.
She said, if you disqualify World's Biggest Backpack due to code compliance, Grange Hall number 6, Literacy Council, North Pole High School football, and Fed code due to incomplete applications, I would recommend the following distribution of funds using a prorate or rata multiplier of 69.65%. So 69,646.52 going to the Chamber of Commerce, 20,893.96 going to Little Rascals, or Bad Rascals, 21,508.59 going to the American Legion Post 99, and 31,340.93 going to Grange Gallery. I just wanted that to be on the record since she was hoping that you guys would all have received it prior to the meeting.
Okay, thank you. I do want to say that the committee did an excellent job. They did not have all the information that we now have. Unfortunately, the North Pole Football Booster Club did not fill out their, last year they were given $25,000 from the Bed Tax Committee. They're required to fill out a form. We retain 10% of that until they fill out the form saying what they spent the money on. We give them the rest of the 10%. Our code says if they don't fill out that form, then they cannot apply the following year. And so unfortunately, they did not fill that form out. So, I mean, we have to follow code with that. And then also I spoke to Mr. Bradley with the Public Works. He's a Public Works Director for the borough, and they haven't sought permission from the borough or the school district. They haven't submitted engineering drawings and plans and things like that. So even if we gave them the money, they would not be able to use it for their intended purpose. So unfortunately, I feel that we cannot give money to the Booster Club. I think, so the committee is the one that brought up the fact that the North Pole Grange number 6 had an incomplete application. The only incomplete part of their application was the business licenses. And when they turned in their application, that was not required. Going through the rest of the applications, several of them are even more incomplete than that. So I don't feel it's right to take the money away from the Grange, North Pole Grange number 6. Actually, I would recommend giving them even more money than we originally allocated to them, because their idea is to make North Pole a destination city for the America 250 celebration. Starting in the morning with the pancake feed at the senior center, and then the 4th of July parade, and then the Bad Rascals in the 5th Avenue Park, and then the celebration, the America 250 celebration at the Grange. That would literally be an entire day's activities in North Pole, Fairbanks, as far as I know, does not have any America 250 celebrations planned for the 4th of July. The Park Service has one planned for August 2nd in Fairbanks. Esther has their 4th of July celebration. And so I think other than Esther and us, that's it. So I would like to see them, the full amount restored to them. Go ahead.
Yes, I guess the Grange said that they didn't have their proper licensing and they got their licensing. Did the other agencies that got monies taken from them, did they have the same opportunity to where, hey, you haven't got this, here's some time to do this?
So I will say the American Legion, they did not put down a North Pole business license on their application. That was not required when the applications were turned in. The ordinance changed the week after the applications were turned in. Subsequently, they have obtained their North Pole business license.
Okay, well, and I understand the business license side. I'm just gonna talk more toward the Booster Club. You know, if they're shy, a signature and whatever documentation from proof of what they did last year, were they made aware of this? Like the other entities saying, hey, you need a business license because things change now?
The committee didn't have this information. This is information that we.
And you know, this is all going back to how this first thing originally started. You know, we're nitpicking, getting pieces from here and here and here, and then we're having spirited communication about a lot of this stuff. And now we're back in the same boat. You know, this organization had a chance to make up what they didn't have, but yet this one didn't. So is that fair? You know, I'm good with it now. I mean, I said my piece. I'm not going to support this. Yes, that's it.
I just want to make it clear, you're still on the amendment that Sandra made, moved by Sandra's, Ms. Rolfe, seconded by Mr. Brandt, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Just to your point, Mr. Skips, nobody was given an opportunity to change their applications. The point I was making about the business licenses was that they were not required when the applications were turned in. So that's the only thing that I was referring to as far as incomplete stuff. As far as a booster club, I would love to give them money, but the borough has said that they can't do what they want to do, what they have applied to do. Go ahead, Mr. Schuster.
I don't think you know that because it doesn't, they can do that. I mean, they can still submit drawings in a month from now. So how can you say that they can't do that and maybe the drawings are being worked on right now?
Okay, what I meant to say is in their application that they gave to us and the presentation that they made at the committee meetings, they were planning to go forth and do this with, you know, different businesses helping out and volunteer labor and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it's not their property. The borough owns the property. And they said, no, you cannot do it that way. So, like I said, we could give them money. As far as what their application is asking for money for, and from their presentation, yeah, I don't know what to do with that. Anybody else have any discussion?
Would it be appropriate to roll call now?
On the amendment?
Correct.
Yes.
On the amendment that changes resolution 2514 to North Pole Chamber of Commerce receiving 75,000, Bad Rascals Artisans and Partisans receiving 10,000, North Pole Grange receiving 10,000, North Pole Grange Gallery and Studio receiving 20,000, Interior Alaska American Legion Post 99 receiving 5,000, totaling in 120,000. Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
No.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
No.
uh, would anybody like to change their vote? So this amendment on this resolution has passed 4-2. Was there any further debate or discussion on the resolution 2025-14 as amended? Mayor Pro Tem, would you like me to take a roll call?
Yes, please.
On resolution 2025-14 as amended, Mr. Schuster,
No.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Skips,
No.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt.
Yes.
Would anybody like to change their vote? This resolution 2025-14 passed by a 4-2 margin. And Mayor Turch, if you'd like to come back, that. And that brings us to new business. Are you back on the dais?
I certainly am, as long as that's okay with Council Pro Tem Brandt.
Yep.
Excellent, thank you. Brings us on to new business. Item 12A, Ordinance 2026-02. Can I get a motion to introduce, please?
Motion to introduce ordinance 2026-02, first budget amendment.
It's found on page 16 and 17 of your packet.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this? Sorry.
We need a staff report first.
Madam Clerk, would you like to give?
For the staff report, neither Tim nor Tricia are here, the Director of City Services and the Chief Financial Officer. At the last meeting, the budget amendment was discussed that the City Services Director needs some more funds for the plethora of snow that we've received this year for snow removal. And the change in the clerk's budget, we budgeted for 3 months of ease, which is our onboarding program. We're switching over to Tyler. We had planned on the integration, the changeover by now. It's taking a little bit longer to transfer over to Tyler. So in the budget fiscal note page on the second page, page 17, we'd be taking money and putting it into professional services. It does say on the fiscal note, and the Chief Financial Officer will change that before next reading, but it's $3,000 going into professional services to maintain ease for 3 more months while we wait for Tyler to be completely integrated with our system. And I don't have much to answer about the city services and snow removal. You guys are all out there. But if you have any questions about the Tyler program and ease program, I'm able to.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. So the $80,000 adjustment is 60 for snow removal and 20 for snow removal / hauling. With this year being such a heavy snow year and all the plowing that we've had, we're forced to do a budget adjustment here before we even get into summer to complete the services that the roads need. That gives us call for public testimony. Has anybody signed up to give testimony or would like to give comments on this evening?
I had nobody signed up to give testimony online.
Anyone in the room? Okay, seeing none. Thank you. Council discussion.
Mayor.
Please, Councilman Schuster.
I just have a question on what $20,000 in snow hauling is going to accomplish.
Typically that is removal of the snow from the snow piles next to the old water treatment facility on Fifth Avenue. The Fifth Avenue Park where we're allowed to pile snow there and around 3rd, 4th, and some around Patriot from year to year or down in Ford subdivision. That's really up to Public Works to decide how to best use that. I know that the director and I have talked about removing the gravel and trying to haul some of that around the 4th Avenue ourselves versus spending additional funds to have someone come in and haul that. But it really depends on how quickly the snow is going to melt and day by day. I know last year there's a lot of Public Works guys out there on weekends. Sunday, I know Easter Sunday, they were out there pumping water to try and keep people from flooding, and hate to see that happen again this year.
Follow-up question on that.
Please.
Is the city able, since we have a loader and a dump truck, to do a lot of the removal ourselves?
We
The whole
can
one.
we can do some of it ourselves. It just requires pulling the gravel truck out of that and then having operators available to run the loader and the dump truck at the same time somewhere to take care of that. It is much quicker and faster when you get 2 or 3 end dumps running and one loader is loading them faster than they can run and dump. It's a lot more efficient that way, but it does cost the city some money. So I think this year we're going to run both to try and facilitate that move as we have personnel to be able to do that. Thank you. Any other questions? Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On the first reading of ordinance 2026-02, first budget amendment, Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Williams, Mr.
Yes.
Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
That first reading passed with 7.
Okay, thank you. Item B has been consented. That brings us on to 12C, request to council. And I get a motion to approve, please.
Motion to approve request to council accept grant funds, $9,985.66 from volunteer fire capacity.
I'll second that. Brings us to a staff report, Chief. Good evening.
Yep, good evening, everybody. This is a request from the fire department to accept grant funds. We've applied once again this year for the VFC grant that we annually apply for. It's a wildfire equipment grant that this year we plan on using this fund to purchase new chainsaws. There is a 10% match required for this grant, which the fire department does have that 10% within its budget currently. So we just ask that you approve us to receive this funding.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Brings us on to call for public testimony. Is there anybody in the room or signed up online who would like to give comments about this evening? Okay, on to council discussion. Any questions for the chief regarding this? Seeing none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
No request to council to accept grant funds of $9,985.66 from the volunteer fire capacity. Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
And that request passed with 7 yeses.
All right. Thank you, Madam Clerk. That brings us on to item E, request to council. Could I get a motion to approve, please?
Motion to approve request of council approval of Munson, Cacchiola, and Severin LLP professional service fee agreement.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, are you on for giving the staff report?
I just created a memo stating that at the last meeting, you, 3 attorney firms, I guess I didn't put the 3 attorney firms, but out of the 3 attorney firms, the council by 6 selected Munson, Cacchiola, and Severin. And now subsequently, their contract is just coming up on the agenda for approval.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. Is there anybody signed up online for public testimony?
I have nobody waiting online to speak.
Anyone in the room who would like to speak to this item? Okay. Seeing none, that brings us to council discussion. Any discussion on the contract? Okay. Madam Clerk, seeing no discussion, please call the roll.
On the request to council for the approval of Munson, Cacchiola, and Severin LLP professional services fee agreement, Mr. Skips,
Yes.
Mr. Claus,
Yes.
Mr. Williams,
Yes.
Mr. Brandt,
Yes.
Ms. Rolfe,
Yes.
Mr. Schuster,
Yeah.
and Mayor Church.
Yes. Would anyone like to change their vote?
That request to council passed with 7 yeses.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. That brings us on to item 13, council comments excluding the mayor.
This evening, Mr. Claus, you are first.
Thank you. I'm glad we got through this particular meeting. One of the things, or 3 of the things I would like to see come out of all of this is, and I'm glad the last item was the approval of the attorney, the law firm. I would like to see our city move to a council or to a city manager form of government. Still have a mayor, but city manager form of government. Also, I'd like to see a comprehensive policy manual, including all departments. A couple of departments have policy manuals to a certain degree, actually 3 do. But I'd like to see the entire city have a policy manual. Also, revision of the code of ordinances and a thorough review of all of it, including the bed tax ordinance. I think a lot of the challenges we've faced this year and last year would have been either precluded or resolved instantly if those 3 areas had been addressed by the city at an earlier date. So I would like this particular council to help the city and its residents and taxpayers to have a more cohesive, responsive, and transparent form of government where everybody has a say and very low level of people getting in each other's faces. It's not acceptable. So I look forward to a brighter future. And I thank everybody, especially the bed tax recipients and applicants who got through this one way or another. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Claus. Mr. Brandt.
Nothing tonight, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brandt. Mr. Williams.
Yes, the other day, who was it? Senior Senate had a problem with snow removal. And Tim had brought, I went over, I asked Tim about maybe sending somebody over to see what could be done. Now, I looked at it myself and I'm saying, oh, that's on your property, so that means you had to do it. And the occupant took it better from Mr. Malatek telling them that they couldn't do it than from me, because I know what they would have said if I had said it. But those guys was really on time with that. And if you have a situation where you think you can make a decision, you need to leave it to those guys, especially when it comes to that snow, because those guys trying to figure out the best place to put the snow and all like this. And that was really good. I want to recommend those guys for that. And you know, the other day there was several articles in the paper on us, and the one part of the paper of the article that really got my attention was it says, disagreements happen in any government, but constant friction and dysfunctional should never become the norm. Okay? City leaders need to set aside drama, treat each other with professionalism, and focus on the real work of running the community. And that's what we need to do. Focus on the real work of running a community, not dealing with this dysfunctional and constant friction. Well, because we'll never get anything done. We'll just be spinning our wheels, and upsetting each other. But we'll try. But there are some people that ain't gonna listen to you. So you got to do what's best for the community. I mean that. And I'll be around for a while to make it work. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Ms. Rolfe?
I have no comments tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rolfe. Mr. Schuster?
Yeah, I'd just like to say, I think there was a major disservice done to some really good organizations here in the city tonight. I'm disappointed with the outcome. I think as a city, we need to do a better job of helping some of these organizations. I don't think we need to hold their hand, but correcting things when we see them so they don't miss out. Some of these organizations have a lot more resources than others. There's some have paid positions and some organizations that are all volunteer that are on this list. And that's a really big difference when you're looking at things as well. And so I would just like to see in the future us to be more inclusive on this money. We had a really good bed tax committee with the largest payer of bed tax in the city telling us how we should spend our bed tax money, and we're not doing that. And so to me, that's disappointing, and I hope we can get it corrected in the future.
Thank you, Mr. Schuster. Mr. Skips?
Yes, the 18th through the 21st of March, the North Pole High School girls basketball team are going to be in Anchorage for state. They have a game Wednesday night at 4:30. Depending on how that goes, they'll have a consolation game or they'll just continue on to state. But it is 18th through the 24th, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. If you happen to be in Anchorage, swing by Alaska Airlines Center. And other than that, that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Skips. That completes council comments.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
That real quick.
We are adjourned at 8:32.
You'd have lost, Jordan. You'd have lost. You say 9:30?